Namaskaram, and I welcome you all to the SADAS of 1st January 2025. We will begin the program with the traditional invocation Shri Saraswati Namostute of Muthuswami Dikshitar set to Arabi Raga.
Saraswati Namostute Varade Shri Saraswati Namostute Varade Shri Saraswati Namostute Varade Shri Saraswati Namostute Paradevate Pati Gauri Pati Guru Guha Vinude Vidhiyuvate Shri Saraswati Namostute Paradevate Shri Pati Gauri Pati Guru Guha Vinude Vidhiyuvate Shri Saraswati Namostute Vasanatraya Vivajita Varamuni Bhavita Murte Vasanatraya Vivajita Varamuni Bhavita Murte Vasavadya Kilani Jara Varavitarana Bahugite Sayuta Mukamburu he Adbhuta Sharanamburu he Samsara Bhitya Bahe Sakala Mantrakshara Guhe Shri Saraswati Namostute Daraha Sayuta Mukamburu he Adbhuta Charanamburu he Samsara Bhitya Bahe Sakala Mantrakshara Guhe Shri Saraswati Namostute Paradevate Shri Pati Gauri Pati Guru Guha Vinude Vidhiyuvate Shri Saraswati Namostute
Thank you. The singers were Pavanetra and Uttara of the 3rd year, Snigdha of the 2nd year, and Ragasudha of the 1st year of the Advanced School of Carnatic Music. I now request Srimati Prabha Sridevan, Vice President, to formally convoke the SADAS.
I wish you all a very happy 2025. Pursuant to the resolution of the President and members of the Executive Committee of the Music Academy, made in consultation with the members of the Experts Advisory Committee thereof, this SADAS of Sangeeta Kalanidhis, members of the Experts Committee of the Music Academy, patrons, donors, and other members of the Academy, Vidwans and Vidushis, learned and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, has been convoked to confer upon Vidwan Shri TM Krishna, the President of the 98th Conference, the title of Sangeeta Kalanidhi and the title of Sangeeta Kala Acharya upon Professor Shri Parasala Ravi, Srimati Gita Raja, and other diverse awards.
I now invite the President of the Music Academy, Shri N. Murali, to formally present the welcome address.
Namaskaram. Professor David Shulman, chief guest of this evening, soon to become a Sangeeta Kalanidhi, Sri TM Krishna, other distinguished awardees to be honored at the SADAS, Sangeeta Kalanidhis, Vidwans and Vidushis, my colleagues on the executive committee, valued members of the academy, distinguished invitees, ladies and gentlemen. I extend a very warm welcome to every one of you to the SADAS this evening. It is my particular honor and pleasure to extend a special welcome to our chief guest, Professor David Shulman, who has come with his wife, Eileen, especially for this SADAS from Jerusalem. Professor Shulman is an internationally acclaimed scholar spanning several areas and with such a rich and prolific body of work. He is an Indologist and a peace activist, known among several accomplishments for his work on history of religion in South India, Indian poetics, Tamil Islam, Dravidian linguistics, and Carnatic music. Bilingual in Hebrew and English, he has mastered Sanskrit, Tamil, Hindi, and Telugu, and reads Greek, Russian, French, German, Persian, Arabic, and Malayalam. He was formerly Professor of Indian Studies and Comparative Religion at the Hebrew University, Jerusalem. Presently, he holds a chair as Rennie Lang Professor of Humanistic Studies at the Hebrew University. He has been a member of the Israel Academy of Sciences and Humanities since 1988. A published poet in Hebrew, Professor Shulman is active as a literary critic and cultural anthropologist. He has authored or co-authored more than 20 books on various subjects ranging from temple myths and temple poems to essays that cover the wide spectrum of the cultural history of South India. It is no surprise then that he is considered to be one of the world's foremost experts in languages, philology, literature, and cultural history. As a peace activist, he is a founding member of the Israel-Palestinian movement called TAISH. I don't know how to pronounce TAISH. In 2007, he published the book Dark Hope, Working for Peace in Israel and Palestine, which concludes the years of volunteering activity in the movement. He is the winner of the Israel Prize for the year 2016. He first came to Madras in 1972, and it was love at first sight. He told the Hindu in the year 2006, and I quote, "The beauty of the language, the music, the food, even the climate captivated me. I still see Madras as a kind of heaven. It is so intellectually and aesthetically stimulating. If I have to belong anywhere in the world, it is here in Mylapore." End quote. The genial professor revels in the beauty of small-town South India and the world of ragas and padams, folk epics and prabandhams. So, in a way, this visit is also one of his several homecomings. The Academy is indeed fortunate and honored to have a chief guest of the caliber of Professor David Schulman with us at the SADAS this evening. The 98th Annual Conference and Concerts, concluding this evening, has provided us all a veritable treat that has been enriching and enjoyable. The Sangeeta Kalanidhi awardee is none other than the brilliant Carnatic vocalist Sri T.M. Krishna. I've already talked about him in some detail at the inaugural function, but what I wish to point out today is about how he distinguished himself in his role as president of the 98th Annual Conference and Concerts. He brought to bear all his passion and seriousness to this role. His brilliance absolutely shone through the entire season. I have no doubt that by the time the curtain comes down this evening, he would have left an indelible imprint on the 2024 season, which will also go down in the history of the Academy as one of the most remarkable and stellar annual music festivals. The academic sessions have been specially curated for the first time in 49 years with an overarching theme, which is aesthetics and synesthetics, reflections on raga in Indian art. Sri T.M. Krishna played a big part in putting together the academic sessions, working in tandem with our in-house expert, secretary and convener of these sessions, Sri V. Sriram. And of course, with valuable inputs from members of our Experts Advisory Committee. The sessions had variety, inclusiveness, diversity, and great depth. The legdams were done by the leading musicians, including a host of young musicians, musicologists, and scholars in specific areas who excelled in their presentations. The Sangeeta Kalanidhi elect made deeply thought-out observations and interventions with his valuable insights and thought-provoking ideas in a free, open, and frank manner. The discussions were wide-ranging and participative, with expert committee members as well as rasikas, musicians, and a few of our executive committee members joining in to make for a lively interaction and enthusiastic participation. Further, I cannot but mention the keen interest that the Sangeeta Kalanidhi elect took in listening to several concerts of his fellow musicians, particularly younger artists. And any description of the whole fortnight will not be complete without talking about Wed Jan T.M. Krishna's stellar concert on the morning of Christmas on 25th December. The concert itself was of a very high quality. The response from the audience was truly overwhelming, and the rapturous applause and the standing ovation that the artist received was incredible. Every seat in the house, both on the ground floor and the balcony, was occupied. Plus, over 150 persons were sitting on this stage, not to speak of the latecomers numbering over 200, listening to the concert through video link from a TV screen at the foyer. All in all, the Rasikas, young and old, were in such high spirits and bursting with such energy and enthusiasm that the whole atmosphere was surreal in a sense. I would dare say, if at all there is a musician who could attract into the fold of Carnatic music those outside, particularly younger audiences, it is Sri T.M. Krishna. The Carnatic music ecosystem needs such an induction sorely, as there are structural changes already happening, which institutions involved in classical performing arts need to take serious note of. I would now like to offer our heartfelt felicitations also to the recipients of other major awards and salute their contribution to Carnatic music. The two Sangeeta Kala Acharya awardees are Professor Parasala Ravi and Srimati Gita Raja. T.T.K. awardees are Thiruvayaru brothers, Sri S. Narasimhan and Dr. S. Venkateshan, and Sri H.K. Narasimhamurthy. The Musicologist Award will be conferred on Dr. Margaret Bastin. As everyone is aware, there has been a great deal of needless external noise and toxicity, particularly in the social media, over several months leading up to the season. Notwithstanding all this, the season went off very smoothly and was a big success. Ultimately, it is music as a force for good that has prevailed, and has prevailed emphatically. The festival owes its success to all the musicians, artists, experts, and scholars who deserve our deep appreciation for their enthusiastic participation and for providing an enriching and enjoyable experience. As always, the support of members and Rasikas, as well as sponsors and other patrons, has been excellent this time too. The seamless teamwork of our colleagues on the committee, supported by the dedicated and untiring efforts of our staff, volunteers, and scouts, contributed immensely. I would like to take a moment to specifically acknowledge the efforts of the convener of the program committee, Sri V. Srikanth, along with other members of that committee, for putting together an excellent schedule of concerts. Another colleague who deserves our deepest appreciation is none other than Sri V. Sriram, the convener of the morning academic sessions. It takes a village to successfully conduct an annual festival of this kind, of this magnitude and duration. In this respect, we are particularly fortunate in always receiving splendid cooperation from the official agencies, particularly police, traffic police, Greater Chennai Corporation, Southern Railways for providing the scouts, etc. We are indeed grateful to all of them. Finally, my warmest congratulations to the artists getting various prizes for performances in this year's festival, who are all seated here, and also in some of the other events during the year. Before I end, I wish to pay our respectful homage on behalf of the Music Academy to the former Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh, who left us on 26 December 2024. He was one of India's great leaders and statesmen who contributed tremendously to the country's progress and development with humaneness, inclusivity, and equity as the guiding principles. He was a rare individual who straddled both academia and politics with equal success. This gentleman politician was humility and decency personified. and the likes of him come with very rarely in our midst. Let me conclude by wishing you all a very happy New Year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You spoke about the extraneous noise and the toxicity, and the founding fathers, as it were, of the Music Academy sent us a message. We recently received the 1943 address of the Music Academy Committee to Sir Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, who was then coming to inaugurate the annual conference of the Music Academy. And the last paragraph of that address, which coincidentally came during the time that we were preparing, and we were right in the middle of the December season, and the President felt that it ought to be read out. In the deep stir of the Renaissance spirit, it is not altogether uncommon that the heat and ferment of the moment should produce a little ugliness in a perverted sense of values. We have no doubt that before long, the misguided enthusiasts will realize the most obvious truth, that what matters in music is not the letter, but the tone. We have no politics. Our sphere is only aesthetics, wherein we stand for all that is the noblest and the best. We now move on to the awards, the Sangeeta Kalanidhi Award. Cash Award contributed by PKF Sridhar and Santanam LLP. The Sangeeta Kalanidhi Musiri Subramanya Iyer Award Gold Medal endowed by Shri C.B. Narasimhan and supplemented by the Music Academy. The Sangeeta Kalanidhi Award is being conferred upon Vidwan Shri TM Krishna. I request Shri V. Shrikant, Secretary, to read the citation of Shri T.M. Krishna.
Shri T.M. Krishna, born on January 22nd, 1976 at Madras to Prema and T.M. Rangachari, Krishna had his training in music under Sangeeta Kala Acharyas, Bhagavatulu Sitarama Sharma, and Chengalpet Ranganathan, and Sangeeta Kalanidhi Shramangudi Srinivasa Iyer. He holds a BA degree in economics from the Vivekananda College, Madras. Krishna gave his first concert at the age of 12 during the Spirit of Youth series organized that year by the Music Academy. He rose rapidly thereafter, becoming one of the foremost Carnatic musicians of his generation, performing at several venues in India and abroad. He is known for his full-throated singing and over the years has evolved a distinctive style of his own. He has a number of disciples to his credit, some of whom are also active performing artists. His creativity also found expression in writing, beginning with Voices Within Carnatic Music, a coffee table book on 7 great artists of the past. Krishna has several publications to his credit. A Southern Music, the Carnatic Story, is a comprehensive study of the art form and has been widely acclaimed. Within the confines of music, Krishna has collaborated with multiple genres and sought to widen his scope of expression through lyrics from various schools of thought. The Music Academy takes pride in conferring the title of Sangeeta Kalanidhi on him. Thank you.
I request the President, Shri N. Murali, to read the Birdu Patra of the Sangeeta Kalanidhi.
Birdu Patra, we, the President and members of the Music Academy Madras, and the members of the Expert Advisory Committee thereof, now assembled in SADAS at Chennai on 1st January 2025, do hereby confer on you, T.M. Krishna, the Birudu of Sangeeta Kalanidhi. As a mark of personal distinction and in token thereof, we hereby present to you this Birudu Patra and authorize you to wear the insignia presented to you herewith. May it please Almighty God to give you long life and strength to carry on your work for the advancement and propagation of this art of all arts, Indian music. 98th Annual Conference and Concerts, President, the Music Academy, Madras.
I now request Professor David Shulman to present the citation, the insignia and the Birudu Patra to Vidwan Shri T.M. Krishna. The Sangeeta Kala Acharya Award, cash award from the endowment by Srimati B. Shanta in memory of late Advocate S.A. Balasubramaniam, and from the endowment of M.S. Pattabhiraman in memory of M. Seshadri Iyengar, M.D. Brothers, and by the Music Academy. Gold medal instituted by Srimati Meenakshi and Asthana Vidwan Injikollai Chidambara Ganapatigal Memorial Award, and by the Music Academy. The Sangeeta Kala Acharya Award is being conferred upon Vidwan Professor Parasala Ravi. I request Sri K.V. Krishna Prasad, Vice President, to read the citation.
Professor Parasala Ravi, born on August 10, 1944 at Parasala, Thiruvananthapuram district, to Vishwanatha Pillai and G. Gomati Amma. V. Ravindran Nair, better known to the world of Carnatic music as Parasala Ravi, came from a family steeped in the arts. His father was a Nagaswaram Vidwan and his mother a music teacher. He learnt the mridangam, preliminaries, percussion from Kaliyappan Annavi, and later was trained by a succession of great gurus, namely Chentila Krishnankutti Nair, C.S. Krishnamurti, Sangeeta Kala Acharya, Mavelikara Velukutti Nair, and Sangeeta Kalandi T.K. Murthy. He graduated from the Swati Tirunal College of Music, Thiruvananthapuram, with Gana Bhushanam and Gana Priyana degrees of the Mridangam. Though he chose to focus on the Mridangam, Parasala Ravi is proficient on other percussion instruments such as Ghatam and Ganjira. He combined a performing career with that of a teacher and a trainer. He served in institutions in Kerala such as the Chembai Memorial Government Music College at Palghat, the Swati Tirunal College of Music, Thiruvananthapuram, and the RLV College of Music, Tripunithura. He served in the syllabus committees of various universities as well. He has authored 5 books on Laya and is a top grade artist of the All India Radio. The Music Academy Madras confers on him the title Sangeeta Kala Acharya. Thank you.
I request Professor David Shulman to present the citation, gold medal, and award to Vidwan Parasala Ravi. Yeah. Mr. President, sir, Sangeeta Kala Acharya Shri Parasala Ravi would like to present to the Music Academy the Tala Chakra that he has created. I request you to receive it on behalf of the institution from Sangeeta Kala Acharya Shri Parasala Ravi. Thank you. The second Sangeeta Kala Acharya Award is being conferred upon Vidushi Srimati Gita Raja. I request our Secretary, Dr. Meenakshi Sumati Krishnan, to read the citation of Vidushi Gita Raja.
Sangeeta Kalacharya awardee Gita Raja. Born on June 5, 1955 at Madras to Bhama and B. Balakrishnan, Gita took to music when young. She was trained initially by Sangeeta Kala Acharya, Bombay Ramachandran, and later came under the tutelage of Sangeeta Kalanidhis T. Brinda and K.S. Narayan Swami for vocal music and veena respectively. Her Laya skills and interest in devotional music were honed by the violin maestro Kunakudi Vaidyanathan. Gita qualified with a bachelor's degree in English literature and French from the SIES College, Bombay, and went on to complete master's degrees in music from the Gandharva Mahavidyalaya, New Delhi, and English literature from Bombay University. A regular participant in Carnatic music competitions from a very young age, she won many prizes and soon made it to the concert platform. She has performed frequently at many locations in India and abroad. Considered today to be a repository of the repertoire of Sangeeta Kalanidhi T. Brinda, Gita has made it her life's mission to propagate it. She conducted special classes on Padams and Javalis at the Music Academy for a few years. She has been training students in her private capacity for a long while, and some of them have won the Center for Cultural Resources Scholarship from the Government of India. The Music Academy Madras confers on her the title Sangeeta Kala Acharya.
Thank you, Sumati. I request Professor David Shulman to present the award, the Birdu Patra, and the citation to Vidushi Srimati Gita Raja. Moving on to the T.T.K. Awards. This comprises the T.T. Vasu Memorial Cash Award annually given by Sri Arun Vasu. There are two T.T.K. awards. The first is being conferred upon Vidwan H.K. Narasimhamurthy. I request the Music Academy's treasurer, Sri V. Balasubramaniam, to read the citation.
T.T.K. Award, H.K. Narasimhamurthy. Born on May 4, 1946, at Hole Narasipura to Jayalakshmi and H.S. Krishnamurthy, Narasimhamurthy had his initial training in music at his native place. He later trained on the violin at Mysore under Vidwans Muttanna and T. Puttaswamy Ayya, who was the brother of Sangita Kalanidhi T. Chaudayya. He also simultaneously graduated with a bachelor's degree in science from the Sarada Vilas College, Mysore. Having attended a performance of Sangita Kalanidhi M.S. Gopalakrishnan, he became a student of his and moved to Madras. He was trained not only by M.S. Gopalakrishnan, but also his father, Parur Sundaram Iyer, and brother Sangita Kala Acharya, M.S. Anantaraman. While in Madras, he completed the Sangita Vidwan course at the Central College of Carnatic Music, now the Tamil Nadu Government Music College. There, he came under the tutelage of several renowned artists, including Sangita Kalanidhis, T.M. Krishna and T.M. Tyagarajan. Narasimhamurthy then became a concert violinist and accompanied several artists. He was also employed at the All India Radio Mysore, where he served for 37 years. He has also trained numerous students. The Music Academy Madras confers on him the T.T.K. Award for 2024.
I request Professor David Shulman to present the T.T.K. Award to Vidwan H.K. Narasimhamurthy. The second T.T.K. Award is being conferred upon the Thiruvayaru brothers, Vidwan Shri S. Narasimhan and Vidwan Dr. S. Venkatesan. I request Shri Ravi Appaswamy, Vice President of the Music Academy, to read the citation.
T.T.K. Award, Thiruvayaru Brothers. Born on September 9, 1958 and February 28, 1962 respectively at Thiruvayaru to Meenakshi and Subramanya Iyer, S. Narasimhan and Dr. S. Venkatesan were trained in music by their grandfather Venkatakrishna Iyer, who was fondly known as Vembu Bhagavatar. He traced his musical lineage to the composer Tyagaraja through Tillesthanam Sishya Parampara. The brothers began performing early and following their grandfather's demise, trained under their father. They also enrolled at Raja College, Thiruvayaru, from where Venkatesan graduated with Sangeeta Shiromani course, while Narasimhan opted for a career in banking. Subsequently, Venkatesan completed a master's degree in music and also obtained a doctorate for his thesis on musical forms of the Melattur Bhagavata Mela. The duo continued performing as Thiruvayaru brothers. In 1986, the brothers were trained in the repertory of operas Prahalada Charitram and Harish Chandra, performed at the Melattur Bhagavata Mela. They were trained in this by G. Krishnamurthy Sharma, and today they are the torchbearers of that tradition. The Music Academy Madras confers on them T.T.K. Award for 2024.
I request Professor David Schulman to present the T.T.K. Award to the Thiruvayyaru brothers. The Musicologist Award, Cash Award in memory of late Shri K.R. Ramamani, endowed by Srimati Hemalata Ramamani, and in memory of Vidushi Srimati Suguna Purushottaman, endowed by Ammanur Gomatham Purushottaman and other smaller endowments consolidated and supplemented by the Music Academy, is being conferred upon Dr. Margaret Bastin. Born on June 26, 1957 at Tiruchirappalli to Hilda and J. Bastin, Margaret was attracted to music and enrolled at the Queen Mary's College and graduated from there in 1986. With 3 master's degrees to her credit, of which the music degree is from the University of Madras, she completed her MPhil and PhD from the same university, specializing in South Indian classical music. In the art, she acknowledges as her gurus Sangeetakala Acharya Suguna Varadachari, Karaikudi Dr. S. Subramaniam and Vidushi Rajeshwari Padmanabhan, and in musicology, Dr. S. Sita, Dr. N. Ramanathan, Dr. Vepaka Sundaram and Dr. Arimalam S. Padmanabhan. In Bharatanatyam, she trained under Shyamala, a disciple of Sangeeta Kalanidhi, Srimati T. Balasaraswati. Sister Margaret Bastin then went on to become a teacher serving at various institutions of Tamil Nadu. She is presently principal at the St. Joseph's Art and Science College for Women, Sivagangai district. Known as a powerful and evocative presenter on music, especially with reference to Sangam literature, Thevaram, the Tiruvachakam, and the works of Ramalinga Swamigal, Sister Margaret Bastin has also authored several articles and books. Her latest work is an abridged version of Abraham Pandidar's Karunamrita Sagaram. The Music Academy Madras confers its Musicologist Award 2024 on her. I request Professor David Schulman to present the award to Sister Margaret Bastin. I now request the President, Shri N. Murali, to honor Professor David Schulman, our chief guest. I now invite Professor David Schulman to deliver his presidential address.
எல்லோருக்கும் வணக்கம். As an old Madrasi, I'm overwhelmed both by joy and by the deep honor of being with you today and with having been asked to preside over this SADAS. It's a unique moment in so many lives, a great honor to have bestowed the awards so far on these great musicians and scholars. I have to tell you, I'm not a musicologist, and I'll tell you a secret. I used to be a violinist. It was the very heart of my life when I was a young boy, but that's many decades ago. And I don't know what's left except that I'm a kind of cultural historian with a great love for the cultures of South India, its languages, its music, and its philosophical traditions, its history. I was asked today to try to say something about the specific qualities and attributes of Carnatic music. And since there are quite a lot of those, I don't think I'll be able to say very much. I only have 10 or 15 minutes. So I've chosen to talk about two aspects of Carnatic music, which seem to me to be important. They may sound a little strange to you. I want to begin by talking about a kind of objective or empirical facet of the music, and then I'll have something to say about the subjective side of it in a few moments. So what do I mean by the objective side? You know, it's an experience that all of us in this room have had, but I don't know if we've thought about it. But you know, if you hear a beautiful Carnatic kriti sung by a great artist, especially if you're listening attentively, but also if you're not paying great attention, or you might even be overhearing or almost dreaming it. But if you listen to such a kriti, it changes something inside you. It's not just a passing moment. It's something that can actually change something in who you are. I'll tell you a story. It's not only about Carnatic music. One of our sons, Misha, who also actually was an old Madrasi, lived in Madras for some time. Some of you in this room may have met him. He's a person who's involved in theater as a playwright and as an actor. And when he was a young boy, really, only 20 years old, he came to visit me. I was at Oxford. He came to visit me, and because he was interested already then in theater, but he didn't know very much about the classical corpus of English theater, European theater, so I took him to see a performance of The Tempest by the Royal Shakespeare Society. And he had never read the play, and he had never heard the famous words, "We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep." He'd never heard those words before, you know. And he had never seen the play or read the play. But when we finished when the production was over and we left the theater, Misha said to me, he said, "Abba, I'm not the same person I was when we went into the theater." And that's something that we know from great art of all kinds, but also of Carnatic music. If we hear a concert, like last night I heard Abhishek Raghuram, a few days ago I heard Aditya Prakash, you know, it changes you somehow. There's a kind of magical movement inside. You might not even be aware of it until it could be hours later, or sometimes days later, or even weeks later, but something changes. And something can also change in the world. One of the features of Carnatic music is that it is capable of changing your life and also of changing something in reality. So I want to give you an example in a moment. First, let me say that part of the reason for this, the magic of that kind of transformation. Part of it, of course, has to do with the tremendous interpenetration and interdependence and symbiosis, more than symbiosis, of the text, the verbal text, and the musical, melodic, and rhythmic text. It's one of the strongest features of this entire tradition, because Carnatic music, we all know, it's a music of compositions, has a compositional framework, and even if the composition exceeds itself in the course of performance, nonetheless, that wedding together of words and sounds, that's a magical combination. Actually, our Sangita Kalanidhi himself said just a few days ago in his address, he reminds us that words are actually sounds. They have sounds. If you sing the words, if you even say the words, they have the quality of sound. And sounds, you know, sounds are not just some kind of mechanical, physical entity. If you listen to what modern linguists in the West would like to say, they will tell you that language is a set of arbitrary signs and symbols, and that there's no particular meaning to the sounds. But that's a very foolish idea. You'd have to be somehow cut off from reality to believe such an idea, because sounds are not simply accidental and mechanical forces. They carry with them a tremendous power and weight. You know, in all of the South Indian languages, all of them, in Tamil, in Telugu, in Malayalam, in Kannada, in South Indian Sanskrit, even in South Indian Persian and Arabic, and we could even go further and talk about Marathi and Oriya if you wanted to. In all of these languages, there is a notion that the poet, the true poet, he or she is capable of discerning and using, combining the syllables that together will change the world. That's what's called in Tamil Porutam. Porutam, the suitability or the compatibility of sounds. A great poet, especially in the classical period, a great poet, already in the Tolkappiyam, a great poet is supposed to be able to use the combinations of syllables and sounds in order to achieve all kinds of effects, blessings or curses. Let's stick with the blessings. Suppose it's a matter of healing the sick, or even of reviving the dead, or of causing someone to fall in love with you, or of creating an alternative universe. This is something that a poet is supposed to be able to do. Now, poetry, literature, and music, you know, they're supposedly two different branches of reality, but actually they're even closer than siblings. They're partly the same kind of effort. There's a Sanskrit verse that says that Sahitya and Sangeetam, they are the two breasts of the goddess Saraswati. So one of them is apata madhuram. That is, as soon as it hits you, the sweetness also overpowers you. But the other is alochanamritam. It becomes amritam when you think about it. And actually the word thinking about it really means what they call charavana, when you chew on it. You have to chew on it and digest it. So you can decide for yourselves which of the two is which. I have my own feelings about it, but perhaps that definition is true of both of them, Sahitya and Sangita, and especially when they're combined in a single art form, where sound and the power of sound, and with it the additional element of meaning, joins with other kinds of sounds. And we know from our experience that actually these sounds of Carnatic music, they can have an effect. For example, all of us know this, I suppose, but for an example, Ananda Bhairavi, I was supposed to be giving a lecture about Ananda Bhairavi earlier this week. Unfortunately, I felt that I couldn't do it. But Ananda Bhairavi is supposed to have a beneficial therapeutic effect. If you play it to people who are sick, they may get well. You know that there were some physicians in South India some years ago who published a scientific paper about post-operative recuperation. And their experiment was to see if they played Ananda Bhairava to post-operative patients. And they discovered, according to their own results, that these post-operative patients, their recovery time was cut in half. because of Ananda Bhairavi. So that's just one example. Actually, it's a kind of simple example, but it's a telling one in some ways. But we can go farther than that. So I'll give you another example, and I don't have time to go into it in detail, but let me just say something about the set of Navavarna kritis of Muthuswami Dikshita on Kamalambika. So I have a student in Jerusalem. She was also living here. And some people in this room perhaps have met her. She's a violinist. Shani Goldfrad is her name. She's just submitted a very brilliant MA thesis on the Navavarna kritis. And she has shown in a very striking and original way that the structuring of these kritis as a set, and we're talking about 11 kritis, but 11 really here means 9, 3 triplets and 2 more. The way these kritis are set up and the way and the order in which they are sung, they have a certain important non-trivial effect. For example, if you concentrate on the talas, so Kamalambika, she is a goddess, she's the Tripura Sundari, she's the goddess of the Sri Vidya. All of you who know of the Sri Vidya, you know that there's a picture of what her inner life must look like. That's the Sri Chakra. So the Sri Chakra has 9 triangles, 5 of them pointing downward, the apex pointing downward, the other 4 pointing upward. And there are various elements surrounding these triangles, but the triangles are the heart. In fact, the very heart of the diagram, which is a picture of the goddess herself in her innermost state, that too is a triangle. And Shani was able to show us that the kritis themselves, in the order in which we sing them, and of course we sing them according to the Sanskrit vibhaktis, the case endings. If you look at them, if you think of them as triplets, so the first one, which is Kamalambike, the tala is Tisra Jati Ekatala. And then there are 2 others. I won't go into that detail now. The first kriti of the second triplet is Kamalambikaya Katakshitoham. Again, Tisra Jati Ekatala. If we go down to the third triplet, we have Kamalambikayas Tavabhaktoham. Again, Tisra Ekatala. And if we had time, we could look at the kritis in between in their talas. And the result of all of this is that if you take these correlations seriously, what you are beginning to see is that same diagram of the goddess that we call the Sri Chakra, except that now it is being, how shall we say this, it is being painted in sound in our ears. We can actually hear her coming into being. In fact, one of the ideas somehow underlies the Dikshita kritis of this sort is that they help to bring this goddess near to us, bring her into being, create her as she is. How do you do that? You can do it with words, but you can also do it with tala. And you can also do it with the melodic phraseology and all of that. I mean, I don't have time to talk about it. I hope that Shani will publish her thesis and you'll be able to read it for herself. That's the kind of change in the world that Carnatic music is able to do, and that's an objective thing. It's not a subjective force. That is something that is happening in the world. So I want to say just a few words before I pause, before I stop. I want to say a few words about the complementary aspect of the subjective. We talked a bit about the objective side of Carnatic music. But there's also, of course, a tremendous subjective side. We know that. And it takes different forms. We know that each of the great composers, not only the Trinity composers, but actually also the composers of the 18th century, which is unfortunately neglected somewhat in our studies. Because the 18th century was a very pivotal time in the formation of Carnatic music. All of the composers that we know, including composers like Upanishad Brahman or Ramabhadra Dikshita. They were highly individual people, and they were composing in a highly individual style. We know all of this. We know that this has to be the case. We also know that great performers, when they are performing these kritis, they also bring, each one of them brings his or her own particular individuality into play. That's given. But there's something more, because I think that Carnatic music is a music of passionate introspection. And I'll tell you why I use those words. Introspection. That is to say, the attempt to probe the ongoing activity and perhaps the deeper depths of the heart and the mind. That's introspection. But there's something a little new here. You know, in South Asia, including South India, from the very beginning, there's been a vast literature of introspection of what I sometimes call a metaphysical type. That is to say, it is introspection which delves into, let us say, the deeper hidden spaces or modes of the mind, like in yogic meditation, like in the Mahayana Buddhist sutras, and other such forms, like in Advaita of a certain kind. That's a kind of introspection. An Advaitin may look into herself or himself and see the inner being that is some kind of hidden but true form of the self. That's a kind of introspection. Again, I call it a metaphysical introspection. But we discovered in my research group in Jerusalem over the last few years, which we were reading early modern texts in all of the languages and in all of the different expressive modes, we discovered that there is suddenly an emergence of what one could call empirical introspection. That is to say, the kind of looking into oneself that one has when one is writing, let us say, a diary. What happened in a particular day? The shifting moods. None of us have the same mood for more than a few minutes. The shifting moods, the feelings, the happiness, the sadness, the frustrations, the dreams, the wishes, all of this. That's empirical introspection, which has to do with our everyday lives. Suddenly, beginning already in the 16th century and gradually acquiring a kind of depth and richness that no one has noticed, I think, until now, we have introspection of this highly personal, individualized type, dealing with everyday experience of living human beings. That's a new kind of introspection. And suddenly it's there. It's there in literature, in all of the literatures. People begin to write autobiographies, you know, this is something new in South India. Autobiographies. We have literary sources that are continuously showing us this kind of modern empirical introspection. The same applies to painting and to sculpture and to architecture and also very much to the theater. But the primary arena for this expressive mode of new introspection of the particular individual in her or his way of living and feeling, the primary arena for these new expressions is Carnatic music. Carnatic music is a music of tremendous introspection. Now, I don't have time to draw in the connections here, and if I had time, I would show you the fact that this kind of introspective mode complements in a beautiful way and a necessary way the objective empirical modes that I was talking about earlier. But let me just say a few words towards conclusion. I'll give you an example, just to be sure that you understand what I'm saying. If you were to take, we could take almost any of the great kritis. Let's take, just for a second, Maye Tvam Yahi of Muthuswami Dikshita, Tarangini Raga. So Dikshita, he's singing to the goddess Maya. And he says to her, Maye Tvam Yahi, go away. You, goddess Maya, go away. Tvam Yahi. Mam Badi Tum Kahi. Who is bothering me? Really what he means is, who are you to trouble me all the time? Maya. So that's something that the composer is thinking and feeling. And something anybody could feel, right? Maya, there's suffering. Go away. But the next thing he says to her is, Tvam Ehi. Come back to me. Mudam Dehi. Make me happy. Ma'am Pahi. Look after me. Take care of me. And if we had time and we were to look at the whole kriti, and if we were to listen to it as being sung in the way that it was meant to be sung, we would see that we were seeing a kind of, you could say, an X-ray of the soul, the living, active soul of the composer, who has a lot of ambivalence, like all of us do, who loves and maybe has something else as well, and he directs these complex feelings to the goddess. That's the kind of personal introspection that I'm trying to make sense of. I want to give one last thought before I conclude. So, you know, in India we have many theories of aesthetic experience. And Carnatic music has its own theoreticians. If we read the early formalizing grammarians of music, like Venkatamakin, like Govinda Dikshita, you can see there too there is an implicit theory of aesthetic experience, what should happen if you listen well. But the theory that tends to infiltrate most of our discussions is that of Abhinavagupta, and he was talking about kavya, about poetry, and also about theater in particular, but he was also a musician. You know that Abhinavagupta wrote on music. And so he tells you, I won't go into the details now, but he tells you that the spectator or the listener at a musical concert or at a play or somebody listening to a poem, he or she should be in a kind of suspended intermediary state, suspended between two poles. On the one hand, this listener, he's a good listener, or she. On the one hand, he is not, or she is not, tirohita. That means completely wiped out, effaced, absent. She's not tirohita. But neither is she what he calls ullikita. Ullikita means fully present in that personal form that we think of as the way we imagine ourselves. Articulated, clear, full of a whole biography of feelings and emotions and maybe memories from previous births as well. So the spectator or the listener at a concert, he, according to Abhinavagupta, he should not be tirohita completely, but neither should he be ullikita. He's in some kind of intermediary state. But you know what? In the South Indian systems, that binary opposition doesn't exist. What we know is that in music, like in other art forms, the listener, the active listener, the spectator should be somebody who is feeling what is called hridaya samvadam. Hridaya samvadam, the resonance, a deep resonance within the heart. Carnatic music is the music of the heart. But the miraculous thing about South Indian classical music is that that kind of listener, he doesn't have to be tirohita at all. He can even be ullikita. He has to be in some other state, perhaps, some state of near ecstasy. Maybe ecstasy is the wrong word, and we should say instasy, because it's in an internal form of tremendous passionate emotion, sometimes to the edge of madness, like when one is in love. A listener like that is not tirohita. In fact, it seems to me from my own experience, and you can check your own experience, it seems to me that to listen well to Carnatic music, you need to be fully alive, present. It's your cognitive faculties working overtime, along with everything else that might be happening, until you reach that other state. Tyagaraja is supposed to have said that if you can identify the 7 or the 12, he said 7 swaras, if you can identify the 7 swaras out of the background noise of cacophony, which is the usual sense of our lives, if you can identify those 7 swaras, that is moksha. But that means that there's a cognitive element involved, thinking and feeling and knowing. I'm going to stop here. I wish there were more time to discuss these matters, but I hope you have some sense of the love that I have for Carnatic music, which is certainly one of the loves of my life. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor David Schulman, for that thought-provoking speech of yours. I now request Vidwan Vyasarpadi Kodandaraman to felicitate the Sangita Kalanidhi awardee Vidwan Shri TM Krishna.
அனைவருக்கும் நமஸ்காரம். திரு சங்கீத கலாநிதி TM கிருஷ்ணா அவர்கள் சங்கீதம் மிகவும் உயர்வானது, மிகவும் உன்னதமான கலைஞர். சங்கீத கலாநிதி விருது உயர்ந்த சங்கீதத்திற்கு வழங்கப்படுகிறது. அதற்கு மிக மிக பொருத்தமான கலைஞர். அவருக்கு என் மனமார்ந்த வாழ்த்துக்களை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். அவருடைய பாட்டு எப்படின்னா ரொம்ப நேச்சுரலாக இயற்கையாக அவர் பாடும்போது ரொம்ப அனுபவிச்சு எந்த ராகம் பாடினாலும் எந்த கீர்த்தனையை பாடினாலும் ரொம்ப ஆழ்ந்து அதனுடைய அனுபவித்து பாடுவார். அது நிறைய கேட்டிருக்கோம். இப்போ சமீபத்தில் கூட ஒரு எந்திராணிதனை அரிக்காம்போதில் ஒன்று கேட்டோம். ரொம்ப அந்த சங்கீதம் ரொம்ப நம்மளை எல்லாரையும் ஒரு ஈர்க்கக்கூடிய சங்கீதம். மிக மிக இந்த அவார்டுக்கு ரொம்ப பொருத்தமான கலைஞர். அவருடைய சங்கீதம் உன்னதமானது. ரெண்டாவது அனைத்து கலைஞர்களும் உயர்வான இடத்திற்கு வரணும் அப்படின்ற ஒரு பெரிய மனசு அவருக்கு. அதை நினைக்கக்கூடிய மாபெரும் கலைஞர். அடுத்தது பிரபல கலைஞராக இருந்தும் அவர் நாதஸ்வரம் தவில் அனைத்து சபாக்களிலும் வாசிக்க வேண்டும். அவர்களுக்கு நிறைய கச்சேரிகள்லாம் வாங்கி கொடுக்கணும் அப்படின்ட்டு அனைத்து சபாக்களிலும் அனைத்து நேரங்களிலும், அதாவது மார்னிங்லேருந்து ஈவினிங் வரலும் உள்ள எல்லா ஸ்லாட்டையும் வாசிக்கணும்னு ரொம்ப ஆத்மார்த்தமாக எனக்கு நிறைய பேசியிருக்காரு. நான் அதுக்கேற்ற மாதிரி அவரும் கேட்டு ஒரு ஸ்லாட்டாக நம்ம வாங்கி கொடுத்துட்டுருக்கார். அது அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு நாதசுர தவிலுக்கு ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு சப்போர்ட்டாக கிடைச்சது. என் சார்பாக நன்றியை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். அது ஒரு மியூசிஷியனாக இருந்துட்டு, அதாவது சபாங்கன் ஏற்கனவே நிறைய பண்ணிட்டு வராங்க. சில ட்ரஸ்ட்டு அறக்கட்டளைங்களை அவங்கவுங்க முடிஞ்ச இதில் எல்லாருமே பண்ணிட்டு வராங்க. ஒரு மியூசிஷியனாக பிரபலமாக இருந்துக்கிட்டும் ஒரு நாதசுர தவிலுக்கு இவ்வளோ சப்போர்ட்டாக இருக்கிறது ஒரு ஃபஸ்ட்டு நான் சாரை தான் பார்க்குறேன், அண்ணாவை தான் பார்க்குறேன் நான். அது இன்றைக்கி நிறைய நடந்துட்டு வருது. அதுக்கப்புறம் இன்றைக்கி வந்து நிறைய பேர் பண்ணிட்டு வராங்க. அது ரொம்ப வரவேற்கத்தக்கது. அது வந்து சுமலசா ஃபவுண்டேஷன் மூலமாக நடத்திக்கிட்டு வராரு. அது ரொம்ப பெரிய மிகவும் மகிழ்ச்சி. அதே மாதிரி இந்த கொரோனா காலத்தில் வந்து நிறைய கலைஞர்களுக்கு, எல்லா கலைஞர்களுக்கும், நாதஸ்வரம் தவுள் இன்க்ளூடு, எல்லா கலைஞர்களுக்கும் நிறைய ஹெல்ப் பண்ணியிருக்காரு. இந்த நமது மியூசிக் அகாடமி சபா மூலியமாகவும் அவர் பெற்று வழங்கியுள்ளார். அது நம்ம மியூசிக் அகாடமி சபாவுக்கும் இந்த சபாவுக்கும் அண்ணாவுக்கும் நன்றி தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறோம். அதே மாதிரி அதுக்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு பெரும் வெள்ளம் வந்தது. அப்படின்போது அந்த ஆர்டிஸ்ட் வீட்டுங்களுக்கெல்லாம் எல்லாம் போயிட்டு என்னென்ன பொருள்லாம் போயிருக்கு அப்படின்னு ஒரு சேகரித்து அந்தந்த எந்தெந்த பொருள்லாம் போயிருந்ததோ அந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் ஹெல்ப் பண்ணியிருக்காரு. அவருக்கு ரொம்ப நன்றி சொல்லணும். அதே மாதிரி இந்த விழாவில் சங்கீத கலாநிதி விருது பெறும் கலைஞரை பாராட்டுறதுக்கு நிறைய பேர் இருக்கும்போது ஒரு நாதஸ்வர கலைஞரை அழைத்து அவங்கள பற்றி பேசணுன்னு வந்து ஒரு சொன்னது வந்து இதுதான் வந்து முதல் தடவையாக இருக்கும்னு நான் நினைக்கிறேன். அதாவது நாதஸ்வர கலைஞரை கூப்பிட்டு பாராட்டுறதும் இருந்திருக்கலாம். ஆனால் ஒரு சங்கீத கலைஞரை கூப்பிட்டு ஒரு நாதஸ்வர கலைஞரை கூப்பிட்டு சங்கீத கலைஞரை பற்றி பேச சொல்கிறது இதுதான் ஃபஸ்ட் டைமாக இருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அனைவரும் சார்பாக நான் நன்றி தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். வணக்கம்.
I now invite Vidushi Srimati Dr. Subhashini Parthasarathy to felicitate the other awardees.
Ellarkum namaskaram. It's a great honor to felicitate such a distinguished and illustrious group of artists and scholars. Sangeeta Kala Acharya Srimati Gita Raja and I share a connection through the Dhanamal tradition. Her work in preserving and sharing this art is truly admirable. Sangeeta Kala Acharya, Professor Parasala Ravi, represents the essential role of percussion in our music, adding depth and completeness to the art form. Both Srimati Gita Raja and Professor Parasala Ravi have been dedicated teachers, passing on their knowledge to the next generation. T.T.K awardee Sri H.K. Narasimhamurthy has trained many students, some of whom are leading violinists. Now, the Trivayar brothers, also T.T.K awardees, uphold the legacy of the Melattur Bhagavata Mela, a tradition that dates back to before the time of the Carnatic Trinity. Sister Margaret Baston represents musicology, which alongside performing arts forms the foundation for the growth and evolution of the science of music. I warmly congratulate all of them on this well-deserved recognition and wish them success in all their creative and scholarly endeavors. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sangeeta Kalanidhi Shri T.M. Krishna.
I have a lot of people to thank in very little time. The President has given me 8 minutes. I'll probably exceed by a couple. I'd like to say first, Vanakkam, Namaskaram to Professor David Schulman, to the President of the Music Academy, Mr. N. Murali, to the Vice President, Secretaries, Committee members of the Music Academy, all the great musicians who are present here, my colleagues, my friends, family. Well, thank you all for being here today, and especially to all the other musicians on stage. Namaskaram to all of you. I'd like to first, of course, thank the Music Academy for selecting me to receive the Sangita Kalanidhi Award for the year 2024. This is indeed a very special moment in my life, in my musical life, and to be receiving this honor from Professor David Schulman is truly a blessing. He's someone whose work pretty much traverses most areas of intellectual activity. A thinker, academician, I'll call him an art immerser, because that's what he really does when he comes to India. A music philosopher, a translator, Indologist, but beyond everything, I think I'm truly honored to receive this award from a peace activist and a humanitarian. I'd like to also congratulate all my seniors, the great Vidwans on stage who have received Sangita Kala Acharya, Vidwan Shri Parasala Ravi, Vidushi Shri Gita Raj, Srimati Gita Raja, the T.T.K. awardees, H.K. Narasimhamurthy sir, the Sri Narasimhan and Venkatesh and the Tiruvayar brothers, both of them, thank you all and congratulations. And to Dr. Margaret Baston, who received the Musicologist Award, my congratulations and my namaskarams to all of you. I have a lot of people to thank, so I'm going quickly. I'd like, the 90th conference that I preside over was truly very special for me, because I really thought that the presentations by scholars, academicians, musicians, dancers were all of such high quality that it got all of us thinking, and every session exceeded time for the right reasons. That we were all immersed in what had been said, and our minds were whirring, and like Professor Schulman said, we were so actively involved in it that we transcended at some point of time, and time didn't matter, I guess. So I'd like to first thank Mr. V. Sriram, who has been with me from May or June this year in putting this entire thing together, all the scholars, the speakers, Mr. Jagdish of the library, and the indispensable Satya. Honestly, she runs the Music Academy. And all the students of the music school who sang the prayer, பிரமாதமா பாடினாங்க எல்லாருமே. நிச்சயமா சொல்லணும், அதுக்கு you have to congratulate all the teachers, their teachers, the volunteers, they were wonderful, the scouts, the security people, the people in the car park. I want to thank all of them at this point. I'd like to thank my gurus, my first guru, my longest guru for over 18 years, Sharma sir, as I used to call him, Bhagavatal Sitarama Sharma, for really giving me the fundamentals of music, discipline, and rigor. Something that's foundational for any activity. And I think he drilled that in me subconsciously at a time that I was probably protesting. But I'm so glad that he gave me all that. Then I bumped into another great guru with whom I actually systematically learned only for a very short period. And then I just went to him and I wanted. His name is Chengalpet Ranganathan sir. And what he did to me was he truly pushed me to my limits. He would push me to a point where almost you're breaking down, but he'll say, he used to call me Singakuti. Singakuti, thirumma paadu. As if it was the easiest thing to do. It was not. But that's what he did to me. And then, of course, Semmagudi Mama, Semmagudi Srinivasayar. I joined him very late in his life, but what he really showed me was what is the expanse of music. That large vision, that whole canvas that is not easy to see. You don't even know it exists. All you see is a little flower, you see a little bird, you see colors. But then Semmagudi Mama suddenly just opens it up and you actually see the universe. And that's what he gifted me. My family, my mother, First of all, to having believed that I had talent when I used to sit in her music class as a little boy, and then put up with all my cantankerous behavior. And poor thing, she was a forced tambura artist for nearly a decade for all my concerts. So I thank her for all that. My brother Shrikant, who's here, who I think had to stop working or doing his business because one of his jobs became dropping me at the railway station or picking me and dropping me at every concert because I believed only if he did it will my concert go well. So I probably caused some professional damage for him. The two people who are not here with me today is my father and my oldest brother Rishikesh. I really don't know what it would been to have them here, but I think with the kind of turns my life took, I think we would have had very many interesting conversations at home. One person I have to thank to be standing on this stage, who was the reason I first got on stage, was the previous president of the Music Academy, my uncle, T.T. Vasu. It was he who convinced my guru, Sitarama Sharma sir, that I could ever sing the first concert. So if not for him to have just thought that it's possible, I may have not got on stage. Many senior Vidwans were kind enough to share the stage with me. Some of them are not here with us today. Sangeeta Kalanidhi Palgat Raghu sir, Sangeeta Kalanidhi Vellur Rambhadran sir, Sri Harishankar on the Kanjira, Kamalakar Rao sir, Sri Karikudi Mani. All of them shared the dais with me when honestly I had very, very much a long way to go and actually helped me musically. And of course, many who are here with us, the great Vidwans of today, Sangeeta Kalanidhi Sri Umyalpuram Shivaraman, Sangeeta Kalanidhi Sri Trichy Shankaran, Sangeeta Kalanidhi Sri T.K. Murthy, Sri Guruvayurudurai Sir, Sri Thiruvarur Bhaktavatsalam, not to forget Vikumama. All these people have been generous with their music and their time and their knowledge with me, and I have to acknowledge all that today. Among the musicians I'll call colleagues, many of them being much older than me though, there have been almost 5 generations of them who have shared the stage with me. I would love to name each one of them, but it's going to take a while, but you know who you are. I really thank every one of you, from the ones who played with me from the late 80s to people who joined me in the 90s, some in the 2000s, some later 2010s, new ones in the last few years. All of you have been magical to my music journey. I mean, all of you, absolutely. And I want to say one more thing here. It is not easy, I know it is not easy to stick with me. Just hold on. And I mean this very seriously. Because I know the pressures they face just for the reason that they share the stage with me. And I would like to sincerely thank every one of them for their trust in me and for the trust in the music that I make with them. Thank you. My work has, of course, traversed many areas, and therefore there are many more people I thank. Few of them are here today. Thiruperumal Murugan, for being the quiet tutor that he is. Doesn't say much, but says a few things. Kannan Sundaram, the publisher of Kalachavuda, who's not here. I'll call Sundaram the objective commentator. Professor Venkatachalapati, who is right here, who I'll call my caregiver. And I'm honestly honored to have with us today somebody who's really shown me how to live a life of self-learning and incredible honesty, and her name is Aruna Roy. Thank you very much. I also have a very dear friend, whose poetic sensitivity and sage-like counsel remains the most precious thing in my life, Sri Gopal Krishna Gandhi. இங்கே வந்து முக்கியமாக நான் நன்றி சொல்லணுன்னா ஒரு ஊருக்கே சொல்லணும். அந்த ஊர் பேர் ஊரூர் ஆல்காட் குப்பம். ஏன்னா அந்த ஊர் மக்கள் வந்து எனக்கு வந்து 2015 நினைக்கிற வருஷம் அழைப்பு கொடுத்து இங்கே ஒரு கொண்டாட்டம் நடத்தலாம், ஒரு இசை கலை விழா நடத்தலான்னு எங்களுக்கு அந்த அழைப்பு கொடுக்கலன்னா ஏன் வாழ்க்கை மாறி இருக்காது. அதுக்கு உங்களுக்கு ஒரு பெரிய நன்றி நான் சொல்லணும். அந்த ஊர்லேருந்து வந்தவங்க 2 பேருக்கு நான் ஒரு ஸ்பெஷல் நன்றி சொல்லணும். அதில் ஒருத்தர் வந்து சரவணன். ஏன்னா நேர்மையும் தைரியமும் என்னன்னு தெரியணும்னா சரவணனை சந்திச்சு தான் போகிறோம், நம்மளுக்கு அது தெரிய வந்துடும். இன்னொருத்தர் யாருன்னா பாலியன்னா. ஏன்னா அவர் என்ன எனக்கு சொல்லி கொடுத்தாருன்னா, கடவுள் நம்பிக்கையும் அறிவியலும் ரெண்டும் சண்டை போடுறதுக்கு கிடையாது, ரெண்டும் இணைந்து இருக்கிற ஒரு அழகுன்னு அவர் தான் எனக்கு காமிச்சு கொடுத்தாரு. Another friend of mine who's always been able to see a conversation emerge from a most uncomfortable situation. You go to this person and say, this is what happened, it was horrible. He'll say, but you know, something interesting happened there, a conversation. And his name is Nityanand Jayaraman. I'd like to thank, there are many collaborators with whom I have shared the stage, have made music with. Shubhani sir and Kalishavi, rendu perum inga irukanga. I have Hannah and Rajagopal sir here, the Jogopas who are not here but with whom I made music. There are many projects, there are many people, musicians, Mridangam makers, some of them are here, I can see them from here. Johnson is there, I can see Johnson there. இவங்க எல்லார்கிட்டையும் நான் நிறைய கத்துண்டே இருப்பேன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். I'd like to thank my students. I've had students over many, many years, over 20 plus years. And my questionings, I'm sure, have been confusing, difficult to reconcile, sometimes have seemed like sudden shifts, which has, of course, raised the temperatures in the classroom. But they've stayed through it. At the same time, I know that they are told and they hear things that they rather would not. But despite that, we remain together, and I thank you very much. I want to say a special thank you to the President, Vice President, Secretaries, Committee members of the Music Academy this year. And I'm saying this because I know this year has not been like any other year. And I truly appreciate the way in which you've stood by me. And I sincerely thank you all for it. Both my daughters said, if you don't thank me, you have it from me. So one daughter who is not here, she's unfortunately away. And our younger one is sitting somewhere here, I think this side. Thank you for always being there to call me out and making sure I remain in doubt and my life remains a series of commas rather than full stops, and that's because of them. Being my partner for 27 years is this incredibly brilliant musician who's my senior in the world of Carnatic music. And I know the formality of this stage is to say thank you. I'm just going to tell you I love you. I'm coming to the end of it, don't worry. My life over the past decade or so has had many rounds of disturbances, many. Each have lasted about a month or so. But 2024 was different. It was about 8 months of non-stop action, if you can call it that. I know I'm tough, but sometimes it is hard, and it can get very lonely. So I want to thank every one of you. So I just want to thank every one of you, and there are many of you here, I'm not going to name you, you know who you are, for being there, for sending me those messages, for making those calls, for even me sending me those emojis every other day for so many months. I am really overwhelmed by the love and affection. I really thank you very much for that. I cannot end this thank you without speaking about 25th December 2024. It was not just about the number of people who gathered here. For me, it was not about that. It was not about the applause. It was not about the standing ovation. It was not about the screams or the howls and the happiness. No. I think what made it unprecedented for me was that everybody here that day was here for a very personal reason. They were all here and that day meant a lot for everybody who was here at a very personal level. And I left that morning with a lot of hope and a lot of joy, but above all, truth. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sangita Kalanidhi Shri T.M. Krishna. Now we will have Sangita Kala Acharya Srimati Gita Raja giving the acceptance speech on behalf of all the other awardees.
Namaskarams. On behalf of my fellow awardees, Sangita Kala Acharya, Professor Parasala Ravi, T.T.K awardees, the Thiruvayaru brothers, and Vidwan Shri H.K. Narasimhamurthy, and the Musicologist Awardee, Sister Margaret Bastin, I express my profound gratitude to the Music Academy Madras for choosing us for these respective awards. It only increases our commitment to delve deeper into this great art and pass it on to future generations. Thank you so much.
We now move on to the prize distribution. I request Professor David Schulman to present the individual prizes as I read them out. The prizes for the performances conducted during the concerts of 2024. The prizes are decided on the basis of the independent judges and their evaluation. First, Senior Best Vocalist Prize, the Yogam Nagasamy Prize, for the season, endowed by Ms. Raguja Ranjani and supplemented by the Music Academy, goes to Abhishek Raghuram, represented by his disciple Kruti Bhatt. The Senior Outstanding Vocalist Prize, Gotuvadyam Narayana Iyengar Prize, and other smaller endowments consolidated and supplemented by the Music Academy goes to Amrita Venkatesh. The P. Obul Reddy Kalpana Swara endowment by Shri P. Obul Reddy and other smaller endowments consolidated and supplemented by the Music Academy as the Senior Outstanding Vocalist Prize goes to Dr. K. Gayatri. Senior Vocal Prize for Best Pallavi Singing, Gana Kalanidhi Dr. Vinjamuri Varadaraja Iyengar Memorial Gold Medal, endowed by Vinjamuri Govindarajan Memorial Trust and other smaller endowments consolidated and supplemented by the Music Academy, goes to Aishwarya Vidya Raghunath. Senior Vocal Prize for Outstanding Pallavi Singing, cash award from the Suguna Purushottaman Memorial Prize endowed by Ammanur Gomatham Purushottaman and supplemented by the Music Academy goes to K. Bharat Sundar. Senior Best Vocal Concert Prize, the Alippe Parthasarathi Memorial Prize, endowed by Srimati Vatsala Rajagopalan and supplemented by the Music Academy, goes to Madurai Shri T.N.S. Krishna Vocal, Mysore V. Shrikant Violin, B. Shivaraman Mridangam, and Alathur T. Rajaganesh Kanjira. They will be represented by T.N.S. Krishna and B. Shivaraman. Senior Outstanding Vocal Concert, Sangeetakala Acharya Shri V. Subramaniam Memorial Prize, instituted by his daughters Srimati Meenakshi Ganesh and Jayashri Shankar Iyer and supplemented by the Music Academy, goes to the team comprising Ramakrishnan Murthy Vocal, B. Vittal Rangan Violin, Delhi S. Sairam Mridangam, and N. Guru Prasad Ghatam. They will be represented by Shri Guru Prasad and B. Vittal Rangan. Moving on to the instrument prizes, Senior Best Instrumentalist Prize, Maestro Mandolin U. Srinivas Prize instituted by the Srinivas Institute of World Music, the Srinivas Family Trust and supplemented by the Music Academy, goes to J.B. Shruti Sagar. Senior Best Accompanying Violinist Prize, the Sangeeta Kalanidhi Papa Venkatramaya Memorial Prize, endowed by Shri C.V. Narasimhan and smaller endowments consolidated and supplemented by the Music Academy, goes to M. Rajiv. Senior Best Mridangam Artist, the Payani Shri Subramanya Pillai Award endowed by Sangeeta Kalanidhi Professor Shri Trichy Shankaran and other smaller endowments consolidated, goes to Vidwan Poongulam S. Subramanyam. The Senior Best Upapakavadyam, the recipient N. Amrit is not present, but I will still read it out. Srimati Padmavati Anantagopalan Award endowed by Padmavati Anantagopalan Charitable Trust and Kalaimamani Kanjira Maestro Mayavaram Shri Somasundaram Prize endowed by Professor D. Vel Murugan, goes to N. Amrit. The Sub-Senior Best Vocalist Prize, G. Ramakrishna Iyer Prize, endowed by Srimati Indira Shivasailam and supplemented by the Music Academy, goes to Vasudha Ravi, represented by her mother. The Sub-Senior Outstanding Vocalist Prize, Sangeeta Bhushanam Madhuri Mangalam Ramachandran Prize, endowed by Srimati Yamini Ramesh, goes to Kalyanapuram S. Aravind. The Sub-Senior Outstanding Lady Vocalist, P. Obul Reddy Prize, endowed by Shri P. Obul Reddy and other smaller endowments, consolidated and supplemented by the Music Academy, goes to Trivandrum Dr. N. J. Nandini. The Sub-Senior Best Vocal Concert in memory of Vidushi Tiruvarur Srimati R. Anandavalli, endowed by Sangeeta Kalanidhi Tiruvarur Bhaktavatsalam, and other smaller endowments consolidated and supplemented by the Music Academy, goes to the team comprising Anirudh Venkatesh Vocal, Kamala Kiran Binjamuri Violin, Akshay Anand Mridangam, and G. Venkatesh Morsing. The Sub-Senior Best Pallavi Prize, cash award from Suguna Purushottaman Memorial Prize, endowed by Amanur Gomatham Purushottaman, goes to Anahita and Apurva, represented by their mother. The Sub-Senior Best Accompanying Violinist Prize, comprising endowments consolidated and supplemented by the Music Academy, goes to Apurva Krishna. Sub-Senior Best Mridangam Artist, Sangeeta Kalanidhi Umayalpuram K. Sivaraman Prize and other smaller endowments consolidated, goes to Kishore Ramesh. The Sub-Senior Best Ghatam Artist in memory of Sri T.R. Harihara Sharma and Sri K.M. Vaidyanathan, endowed by Srimati Sukanya Ram Gopal, goes to Srinidhi R. Kaundinya. Junior Best Vocalist Prize, comprising endowments consolidated and supplemented by the Music Academy, goes to Kruti Bhatt. Junior Outstanding Vocalist Prize, comprising endowments consolidated and supplemented by the Music Academy, goes to S. Srivatsan. Junior Best Male Vocalist Prize, Sri Semangudi Srinivasa Iyer Memorial Prize, endowed by Dr. Ramamurthy Jambunathan, goes to Abhilash Giri Prasad. Junior Best Vocal Concert Prize, Kalaimamani T.K. Rangachari Memorial Prize, endowed by the TKR Centenary Organizing Committee and supplemented by the Music Academy, goes to the team comprising Shruti Shankar Kumar, S. Subashri, and Deepika Srinivasan. Junior Best Accompanying Violinist, comprising endowments consolidated and supplemented by the Music Academy, goes to N. Madan Mohan. Junior Best Mridangam Artist, comprising endowments consolidated and supplemented by the Music Academy, goes to Aduturai G. Guru Prasad. Moving on to the lecture demonstration prizes, the Sangeeta Kalanidhi T.V. Subbarao Memorial Prize, endowed by Srimati Sudha Vyas, and supplemented by the Music Academy goes to Dr. K. Sri Lata. There are two outstanding lecture demonstration prizes, both endowed by the Music Academy and supplemented by smaller endowments. The first one goes to Vidwans Chinnamanur Dr. A. Vijay Karthikeyan and Idumbavanam Vidwan K. Prakash Ilayaraja. And the second goes to Vidwan Nedumballi Ram Mohan and Vidushi Meera Ram Mohan, represented by Nedumballi Ram Mohan. Moving on to the HCL concert series, Best Individual Performance Prize endowed by the Shivnajar Foundation in memory of his mother, Srimati S. Vamasundari Devi. The prize goes to Charulata Chandrasekhar for the Veena performance. The HCL Concert Series Best Concert Prize endowed by Shivnadar Foundation in memory of Srimati S. Vamasundari Devi goes to the team comprising S. Swaminathan vocal, Kailasapati violin, Prahlad Vijay Varahaswamy mridangam. Moving on to the Spirit of Youth prizes, the Best Female Vocalist Prize comprising the Gutti Vasu Memorial Prize endowed by Srinivasa Prasad International Foundation for the Performing Arts goes to Samanvita G. Sashidharan. The Best Male Vocalist Prize, Gutti Vasu Memorial Prize, endowed by Srinivasa Prasad International Foundation for the Performing Arts, goes to P. Vikram. The Best Accompanying Violinist Prize, endowed by the same endowers mentioned earlier, goes to Urmika Balaji. Best Mridangist Prize, endowed by the same endowers, goes to R.S. Pranav. Best Instrumentalist Prize, Veena, goes to Vinayak Vaidyanathan. Best Musician of the Festival, Srimati Ambujam Krishna Special Prize instituted by Messrs. Sundaram Fasteners Limited in memory of Srimati Ambujam Krishna goes to Samanvita G. Sashidharan. Moving on to the Devotional Music Competition Prize, endowed by Rukmini Arts and Music Trust, the first prize goes to the Sishyas of Srimati Savita Sriram. The second prize goes to the team comprising Tamil Nadu Dr. J. Jayalalita Music and Fine Arts University students trained by Sangita Kalanidhi Dr. S. Saumya, the Vice Chancellor. The Music Academy Radl Mid-Year Music Concerts Vidushi Srimati Sugandha Raman Prize, endowed by Messrs. Radl Electronics Private Limited. Best Individual Performance goes to V. Krupa Lakshmi. Represented by her mother. That brings us to the end of the prize distribution. I now request our Secretary, Shri N. Ramji, to present the formal vote of thanks, and I request members of the audience to please stand by for the next performance, which is a special Nagaswaram concert by S. Kasim and S. Babu.
On behalf of the Music Academy Madras, I have great pleasure in proposing a formal vote of thanks on the successful completion of the 98th Annual Conference and Concerts. We express our gratitude to Professor David Schulman, Chair, Rani Lang, Professor of Humanistic Studies and formerly Professor of Indian Studies and Competitive Religion, Hebrew University, Jerusalem, for presiding over the SADAS today and for conferring the title of Sangeeta Kalanidhi on Vidwan Shri T.M. Krishna, and also for patiently distributing the prizes. Our thanks to the other awardees who are senior Vidwans and Vidushis for their participation and presence. We thank the experts committee members for their presence and valuable comments during the morning sessions. Our thanks to the students of the Advanced School of Carnatic Music for being efficient volunteers during these sessions. Our heartfelt thanks to all our generous sponsors and advertisers for their continued support that has helped us organize 17 days of lectures and concerts successfully. We thank the press for their coverage through the season. We have videotaped the morning conference sessions, and we thank Sri Nambu Kumar and his team for the recording work and also related publicity. We thank the security agencies, the Law and Order Department for the safe conduct of the festival, and the traffic personnel who ensured smooth flow of traffic, particularly at the gates, along with our valet service members. We thank our Music Academy staff who worked tirelessly to make this festival a grand success. I also thank my colleagues in the committee for all their tireless work they put in for the festival. We thank our scouts and guides who did a commendable job of seating the members in the auditorium. Our thanks to Shasta caterers for the sumptuous food and the canteen, and to all our members and Rasikas present here, a very big thank you for your presence through the season. In conclusion, it is the artists who have stolen the show with their brilliant performances. Our sincere thanks and best wishes to each of them as we usher in the new year. We wish each one of you happy, healthy, and wonderful 2025. Thank you.